Welcome back to Good Morning San Diego. The new year is upon us, and there is some things that you need to know if you plan on buying a home, selling a home, if you're jumping into real estate. And who better to tell us than San Diego real estate? Well, he's the founder of Jim Bottrell Real Estate Team. He is in the know for all things real estate here in San Diego. Jim Bottrell, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me, and Happy New Year.
So, prediction for 2025 real estate market. What should people be doing?
We'll do it really quick. I was expecting 2025 to be fantastic. Rates were going to be coming down, and then Chairman of the Fed, Jerome Powell, opened his mouth in December and said we're going to reduce the number of rate cuts, which tells the world that they don't have inflation under control. So what we're going to experience in 2025 is all those hopes and dreams of having this fantastic year kind of going to go away. We're going to have a continuation of 2024. We're going to have interest rates a little bit higher than what we want. We won't have as many buyers in the market, but that's okay. We won't have as many sellers either. But 2024 wasn't a bad year. We still saw 4% appreciation, which is very moderate, and that's what we will have again.
Okay, now people have told me for years and years, I said this to you,
we were just talking about it.
You know, don't buy now because the bubble's going to burst.
Yeah, you know what, I listen to all that stuff, and there's one question you always ask. Why? Why is it going to crash? Just tell me why. And they've never been able to answer the question other than gravity, okay? Because it's gone up so much. No, that's not an answer. Gravity is not an economic theory. I'm sorry. It's just not. Physics, yes. Economics, no. They said it's been 13-year run since we've had a crash. Well, no, it hasn't. It's been gone up 13 years, but we've had two major corrections in the last 13 years. But let's just say the market does crash. I'm going to use one of my own examples here. I bought an investment property in the early 2000s, right before the crash, paid $312,000 for it in Oceanside, right? It went down to the bottom of the market, down to just over $200,000. I was $100,000 upside down on that property. Most people walked away, but I signed a piece of paper saying I was going to pay them back. That means something to me. So I kept that property. All right. Now, 20 years later, that same property that I paid $312,000 for went down to $200,000 is worth over $900,000 today. Time fixes everything in real estate. That's the important. I always say this. Time fixes everything. There's one way to lose money in real estate is to purposely sell the property when the market's down. Time will fix it all.
Okay, so don't do that. Let's talk about renting. Buying. A lot of times I talk to, some of our photographers, they're young and they go, oh man, I can't afford to buy. I'm just going to keep renting. Okay,
so let's talk about renting for a second. Renting, I say there's four things with renting, all right? One is it gives you a key that opens the front door for 30 days. Two, it gives you a roof over your head for 30 days. There are no tax benefits to it whatsoever. And you are investing in your landlord's retirement versus yours every 30 days, all right? So I can't stand renting at all. That's all it does. There's no upside to it. On the other hand, when you go mortgages, mortgage payment, well, it's still one check, just like the rent, it does a lot of great things. I mean, there's three major portions of a rent check. The first one is the principal. That's still your money. It goes from your checking account into your asset. It's still your money. And then you have the taxes and the interest that you pay. Now, renters still pay property taxes built into their rent, but those are tax deductible. So going back to my own story, when I bought my very first house, my mortgage was triple what my rent was. It was terrifying. It was most of my paycheck. But when I bought that very first house, somebody said, take that first mortgage payment into S1, which is the military's version of HR and payroll. And they made the adjustments on my, to the taxes, since I'm going to be paying a lot less taxes now. And my take-home pay went up dramatically. I got a massive raise, essentially, just because I bought a home. And then when I sold that house a few years later, I got, the property value had gone up so much that the check I got from escrow was more than the entire accumulation of all the mortgage payments I'd ever made, plus $17,600. And that's not even including the tax benefits. So that's why I'm sitting here today, is I realized how much money I made by being a homeowner, which was triple what my rent was. In that period of time I owned that very first home, I got all my money back. I got a check for $17,600 tax-free, and I got a pay raise on top of that. So when people tell me it's too expensive to own, it's too expensive, a mortgage too expensive, no, I say no, they don't understand the lessons that I just kind of barely touched on right now. Yeah. Nobody's ever explained it to them. And to me, I don't look at it as a mortgage is too expensive. I look at rent is too expensive. That is 100% loss every single month with no tax benefits, no upside, none of that stuff. So yeah, I'd be happy to explain it to anybody, but that is so much information there on all the advantages of owning versus renting. You just got to understand it. Then go make your own decision once you have all the facts.
Okay, so we need to have you come back to talk about the ways that people can get into a home for the very first time.
Yeah, there's a lot of techniques there too.
Lot to go over, and
Yeah.
obviously, I mean, we're just starting the year out, so we'll see how it all goes. Jim Bottrell, always a pleasure to
Thanks,
have you
Adam.
in and to remind people a little bit of what the housing market looks like
Yeah,
right now.
it's exciting.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.